Welcome back to the We Are Wave Makers podcast, where we explore the intersection of purpose, passion, and how it connects to holistic marketing for businesses. Presented by the Wave Makers Collective, we invite you to sit back and tune into a conversation with experts from Southeast Asia on how businesses can apply the holistic marketing approach to grow their business. I'm your host, Nazira Hashim, and I am delighted to welcome you today as we chat with Fong, the marketing director at UOA Hospitality Group in Malaysia. Over the last decade of her career, B has worked with brands across the region, including Marriott International in groups such as Sheraton Kuta in Bali and W Hotel in Kuala Lumpur, where she specialized in branding, partnerships, corporate communications, and orchestrating marketing campaigns that effectively reinforced and built brand awareness. Today, we are here to uncover her thoughts on what she believes is the future of marketing in the world of hospitality. Welcome, B.
Hello, Nas.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming online today with us. I hope you have been having a great time working so far in KL because you were in Indonesia before. How's that
Yep.
going?
It's good. It's good. I mean, it's not much different. The hotel scene in KL and Bali, of course, the ones that I'm attached to in KL are city hotels. The ones that I'm attached to in Bali were resorts. But yeah, good to be back in KL for the last couple of years. Yeah.
So, I want to jump right into it, but before I do, I really would
Mhm.
like to know a little bit more of what you're doing at UOA Hospitality Group. Maybe you can give us a little bit of insights on, just a little blurb, how's it going over there?
Yeah, it's been doing good. Obviously, UA Hospitality is a local Malaysian hotel chain. We have hotels such as the VE in Bangsa South, Commune Bangsa South, Commune in Cheras, which is a senior living facility with a hotel that's attached to it. They call it the Wellness Hub there, as well as a new F&B establishment in KL called Bamboo Hills. Yeah, so that is our new project right now that we are working on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Is it
Yeah.
any different in terms of marketing in a post-pandemic environment? Do you see a decrease or increase in marketing budgets for industries like even in UOA in general? What have you seen so far? Are people willing to invest in marketing, or are they sort of like unsure still?
Okay, thanks for the question. Wouldn't say that there is an increase or decrease. I think it's very much dependent on the needs of the hotel, right? But I would say that there is a newfound importance in marketing. A lot of brands are right now pivoting towards digitalization in hospitality, especially in marketing, because what it can do is that it can help hotels to regain consumer confidence during the post-pandemic environment. Also to attract a new segment of travelers, right? I think post-pandemic, we get to see that, traditionally hotels like W hotels previously, they don't cater to families, right? But now, because of the pandemic, we were only targeting the locals because there were no international travelers coming in. Suddenly you find that, families, young families would like to come and experience the hotel together with their young children to expose them. So it's like attracting a new segment of travelers as well. Lastly, I would say like optimizing their revenue management, because during the pandemic, we were not seeing the revenues that we were used to before. And now we need to optimize, whatever that we have. I do see a newfound importance for marketing, I would say, and I believe that many hospitality companies are ramping up on their digital presence right now in anticipation of the return of international travel, as you can see in the last couple of months.
Do you see any changes in travels incoming from abroad already?
Oh, yes. Especially with after the China opening its borders, we would see there is an influx. We are not fully into the pre-pandemic demands yet. Yeah.
But it's getting there.
It's getting there. Yeah.
I noticed that, I was watching a recent study news lately, and they were saying that this year will be the year that China will be the biggest global international travelers in across the world. And I can see that in Bali already, Chinese tourism, Chinese tourists.
Starting to come back. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, travel, despite uncertain times, in the existing
Mm-hmm.
economy. People are talking about inflation. Do you feel like the hospitality industry may be taking another hit if there is, this economic, uncertainty?
Yes, yes, yes. So I think that's what everybody is talking about right now. I would say the hospitality industry outlook for 2023 is mixed, really dependent on the region, what segment, and also what are the market conditions. Let's talk about the bad, the good, and what's happening in Asia Pacific, because that's where the region that we are in right now, right? So although we are seeing signs of recovery in some areas, I believe many businesses are still struggling, right, to meet post-pandemic results, right? It is important to note that the impact of COVID-19 is expected to recede. However, the hospitality industry continues to face many challenges recently, including staff shortages, because during the pandemic they had to let go of staff. Supply chain issues, with the war that's going on between Russia and Ukraine. It has also affected like supply chain issues because of sanctions here and there, and also a lack of economic growth in some areas. I think the hospitality was the one that was hit the hardest. And when we were anticipating that we will bounce back, it did not bounce back as quickly as it was before, because the borders are still closed and stuff like that. Inflation, like you just mentioned, what we are facing right now, things are getting more and more expensive. And not only that, volatile exchange rates. So countries like the US that are enjoying like better exchange rates, they have better spending power when they travel, compared to like us in Asia, where, if we are traveling to that side of the world, it is more expensive right now due to the exchange rate. It keeps increasing. So these are the key risks that we need to look at for this year. But I'm not saying that everything is all doom and gloom. However, there are also some positive trends in the industry for 2023. So, for example, travel spending is expected to increase because of all this pent-up travel. You couldn't travel for the last couple of years, so, you want to make the most of it. So, more travelers are likely to make up for loss of travel and will be willing to pay more to maximize their trip, to make every experience worth the money, right? Somewhere you wanted to go before, or holiday that you were planning during 2020, and then the pandemic hit. Then you already, manifesting it, and you want to experience what you imagine to do there, right? Additionally, the hospitality industry is also expected to develop and adopt more sustainable solutions in all its activities using technology. So I don't know if you realize, but some hotels are slowly replacing like mundane tasks with solutions to optimize their operations. So for example, rooms can now be accessed without a key card. You don't need to go past the front desk. All you need to do is register prior, include all your details and everything. This is also to minimize human contact. And now you can just use your mobile phone to, to access your room, So this is a technology that we are adopting. So all these mundane tasks of like checking in a guest, getting all their details and stuff like that will slowly be cut down. Moving forward, also, I see AI coming into the picture. I think everyone's hot topic right now is ChatGPT. It has good and bad. I would only talk about the hotel industry right now because it's such a broad topic. It is a big part of innovation in the hotel industry that can solve problems such as staff shortages. So let me give you an example. So if a guest comes down and said like, I don't want to go to the touristy places, I want to go somewhere less touristy, like what can you suggest? It would take time for the staff to go and research these kind of things because it's not your usual stuff. But right now you can just type out what you want to know, and the chat GPT can actually generate those kind of information. So it would take time away from the hotel staff doing these mundane tasks, and they can concentrate on making the guest experience a little bit more personalized, right? In return, making them loyal and returning guests. As for the Asia Pacific region, now that we talk about the good and the bad, I think for the Asia Pacific region, I think the release of the pent-up travel demand is going to continue on an upward trend this year, with the opening of major markets such as China, Japan, Hong Kong late last year and early this year. But only time will tell if 2023 will be better than the years before pandemic, due to the pros and cons that we just spoke about just now.
Yeah. I would say that we can't this year to be the year that it goes pre-pandemic levels.
No.
I really doubt that, because
Mm.
only 1 week ago or less than a week ago, Japan just lifted the mandatory need to for tourists to actually showcase their vaccination status.
Mm-hmm.
And with that change, and we're already in May, I think they could have hit their numbers had they removed that completely, right?
Correct.
So the world itself is going towards, hey, you want to travel, you don't need to show your vaccine status anymore.
Yes.
And with that, I do think there will be a change in how people will travel. And perhaps that's their way of trying to get the recovery of the 2023 pre-pandemic levels is something that they're trying to get to. But I would say I don't think it's going to get there by the end of this
Not
year.
yet. Yeah, not yet.
But as you mentioned, right, people are really like desiring to travel. And so I think money is not necessarily the issue right now for them to spend. It's more like whether the hotel can provide the right kind of experience, the right kind of amenities, the destination itself is giving them what they seek. And I think one of the trends we always knew lately is sustainability, the great outdoors, nature, connecting to wellness. It's part of the trend that I see is happening more so in luxury travel. And I feel like also in just general travel in general, people are very cautious because we know we have like global warming and things like that. So people are very, very particular in how brands actually promote their sustainability efforts. That being said, considering we know that things are uncertain, you mentioned Chat GPT, which is a topic that I knew we would talk about here, right? In the context of marketing, do you think hotels are actually utilizing it right now to effectively promote their business?
No, not yet. I think it's still at the infancy stage, and I think everyone is trying to see like, oh, whether this is going to displace certain jobs, certain levels of jobs, right? Like I said, like perhaps maybe a concierge is no longer needed because you can just chat. When you check in, we give you a login, and then you can just ask away. You eliminate certain jobs in the hotel industry, which I think because the hotel industry is such a human-centric industry, I think it would take a little bit longer for it to overtake the industry. Yeah.
As much as I enjoy ChatGPT as a tool, I often fact check the platform.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, even though they tell you all these ideas and research and whatever, like I noticed that you still need to kind of check it because it's not there yet. I believe like for hospitality managers, I think it's a helpful tool to give you a faster productivity working experience. But at the end of the day, like you said, hospitality is a human to human experience.
Yes,
and as much as we want to, make it more streamlined with less human contact, I think what we seek when we have hospitality is the human contact to make us feel welcome in a new environment or a place. But do you have anything to add to that, actually?
Yeah. I think, like ChatGPT can help the process of like getting a new customer, that consumer journey at the beginning, not when the guests are already at the hotel. I think when the guests are already at the hotel, we seek that human to human touch. You can have ChatGPT or computer to like generate like advertisements, for guests that like traveling into their destination, and that consumer journey funnel where towards the end where they decide where to stay. I would say that will help at that stage. But when you are already at the hotel, guests still want to have that human to human touch. I think that one cannot be replaced.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Aside from that, how can managers in hospitality support teams to remain agile in these uncertain times, actually? What do you think?
Okay, so managers in hospitality can support their marketing teams by a few things, actually. I think, first of all, with the ever-changing strategy, I think it's very important for managers to provide clear and realistic goals and expectation for the marketing team. So, for example, you can't be expecting a revenue of, 1 million, which is like perhaps your goals to reach pre-pandemic. But I think during the pandemic, you got to be clear what you want to achieve, communicate it to the team, and aligning them with the overall business objectives and vision. Secondly, I would say empower the marketing team to make decisions and take actions based on data. I think pre-pandemic, maybe certain hotel brands did not see the importance of it, but now during the pandemic, we were looking a lot at data. What can we do? Guest feedback. How can we improve? Right? Consumer insights will help us also get to know what the consumers want. And trusting the team to experiment and learn from their mistakes, there are always failures and successes. So during the pandemic, you had to experiment with whatever that we could, because we weren't getting the numbers. So what can we do? We started doing delivery, which was unheard of pre-pandemic, right? Next, I would say a manager should also encourage collaborations and communication among the team members, not just marketing team and sales department, but marketing team with the rest of the departments in the hotels, because everyone's a stakeholder, right? Sharing of ideas and best practices. So for example, during the pandemic, right, we could operate restaurants, but we couldn't allow guests to stay, for example, right? So what we did was to allow people to dine out safer, we collaborate with the rooms division, and F&B to provide guests to be able to dine in the room itself, so that it's safer environment for them to dine. Then, it's a collaboration, right? So managers should encourage this kind of collaboration so that it's a win-win situation for everybody. F&B gets the revenue, rooms division get the revenue, and you just need marketing team to communicate this to the public, right? I think the other point is also managers should offer regular feedback and recognition to their marketing team. We are often the unsung heroes, but also acknowledging their efforts and achievement is, it's also good to boost morale.
Of course.
Yeah, and then also providing their opportunities for training and development to enhance their skills. So, not just doing one specific area in marketing, expose them in experimenting. Lastly, I would say managers also should be flexible and adaptable to the changing market conditions and customer needs. So being open to new strategies and approach can help their marketing team to achieve all these goals together. Yeah, those are the traits that I like to see in a manager, to help marketing teams to remain agile.
I 100% agree. I mean, for me, every single point that you brought up really would help foster the philosophy we have here, which is holistic marketing. You mentioned that everyone is a stakeholder. And that's true, right? We imagine that marketing team is just communicating the message, but it all trickles down to everyone, right, in the organization.
Yes.
And if we're creative with how we approach the entire organization's way of fulfilling a specific goal, aka making the customer happy, right? Like let's make the customer happy. That's a simple goal, but it can't just be the marketing team that sells the idea of what makes the customers happy. It's got to be the the entire operations, the whole experience, and that comes from the leadership, right? The management need to empower each team department to see this big picture, for example. And I think you hit it right in the nail on the head right there when you said essentially training will help the entire team, not just a marketing team, to really see that big picture. So I totally resonate with that. With that being said, one last question for you, B. For new marketers, right? We get a lot of young people who, ask for mentorship from, people like myself and my business partner, Rachel. I'm sure you've done a little bit of mentoring yourself. What's your advice for new marketers when they navigate their career moving forward? What would you like them to think of?
Okay. I want them to learn and be curious as much as you can. Learn as much as you can about the hospitality industry. It's not just your specific industry, but what are the trends out there? What are the challenges? And what are the opportunities? And go out and be curious and learn what are the best practices that people are doing out there. You can do this by reading a lot of, industry publications, blogs, podcasts, newsletters. There are plenty of information out there. It's just waiting for you to, whether or not you want to, to go and learn. Networking with people. I think networking with other hospitality professionals and experts who are more experienced would actually help them to inspire them. I would think so, yeah. Then next point, I would say understand your target market as a marketer. What are the needs? What are their preferences? What are the behavior? And what are the feedback? What are people saying about you, right? You can do this by conducting market research, analyzing data. All these are actually in whether or not you want to go and get this information. listening to social media conversations, what are they talking about your brand, I would say this would help you make an informed decision about your marketing strategies. Next, I would say develop your marketing skills and knowledge, especially in areas that are relevant and valuable in the hospitality industry, such as content marketing. I wouldn't say, it's just PR and digital marketing. What else? With post-pandemic, we were doing a lot of content creation because we need customers to know what are we doing to keep our hotel guests and staff safe during the pandemic lah. Yeah, I'm talking specifically more on that. Develop marketing skills in social media marketing. What are the trends? What are people watching? Video marketing. I think you relating back to content marketing again. Video has gone from doing long form videos to now short form videos to even shorts on YouTube, on Instagram. They have already introduced this kind of like video marketing. User generated content, I would say you can do this, with guests posting about you, basically gives people the confidence that this is what people are talking about you, hence it must be true. All these marketing skills you can actually develop by just a simple thing as taking the initiative of taking an online course or certification. LinkedIn has a lot of courses which are free, reading articles, watching tutorials available on YouTube. If you don't know how to create a video, short form video, you can watch tutorial on how to do so, because all these were not taught in college. I think none of us went to college learning all these things. Yeah. Be creative and innovative in your marketing strategies and campaign. I think I would like to see more marketeers do this by brainstorming ideas with their colleagues, not just within their department, right? Using tools or platforms that can help to generate or execute ideas. Because when we were during the pandemic, we were not sure whether this was going to be a failure or will it be a success, whether we put this promotion out, whether it will work or not. So we just got to keep being creative and innovative to keep improving it, right? And I think the last point I'd like to mention is to be flexible and adaptable in the changing market conditions and customer needs. You can do this by monitoring all the market trends and what are the customers' feedback. Being open to new strategies will also help you approach and achieve your goals if you are willing to experiment and learn from your failures and successes. Yeah.
That's great advice. I think like at the end of the day, there's so many things that an individual new to the industry can actually learn via just whatever's online. And
yes,
your whole idea of having this philosophy of constantly learning and, using that learning experience to actually be creative and innovative, it's fundamental to be successful in your industry.
Any industry. Yeah, actually.
So I think it's great advice. With that, I'd just like to say thank you so much, B, for giving us this time and so many great insights from you on, what's happening in the hospitality industry, what's it like post-pandemic environment, and what to expect. Really great advice. So I just want to say thank you for coming onto the show. We hope to have you back real soon to give us more insights on the hospitality industry and the future of marketing as we see it evolve.
Thanks for having me.
That wraps up our 4th episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, do give us a follow at wavemakers.co on our Instagram to stay updated on our latest episode. Thanks for tuning in.